Hi, Busker909 here. Today I'd like to talk about triads. So this isn't a beginner lesson. So even though this is my favorite beginner instrument, except for maybe the diddly-bow, you can also do very more advanced, more musical things on it if you become inclined that way. You certainly don't have to. You can just use your ear and figure things out and play just tons and tons and tons of stuff. But if you want to know a little more about it, this is one of those kind of lessons. Not much theory, just a little bit. A triad is your basic fundamental musical chord, musical form, has 3 different notes. There's 4 types of triad: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. And we're only going to talk about major triads today, and we're only going to talk about major triads from the point of view of a G blues, and how to turn each one into a 7th chord. But first I'll show you the triads and how they're connected. And there's only one chord you might find a little awkward at first. If that's the case, just skip it and keep on going through the other chords in the lesson, and I'm sure you'll get it later. But the information is we're going right down the full length of the neck. So the 3 triads we're going to use is G, which is spelled G, B, D, then C, which is C, E, G, and then D, which is D, F sharp, and A. So we're not going to write all the notes out here. I'll just let you know as we go. Now, the triad is still a triad no matter what order the notes are in. This is important. This way you can connect the sound of the triad to the other triads and stay in one position instead of going up and down your neck, like G, C, D. Like, you will have to do a little bit of movement, but not very much. And you can find these different positions that you can use to play rhythm, because not all blues is, which is great. I love that. I do tons of that stuff. If you watch my channel, you know I'm constantly doing stuff like that. But this is a different way to know your neck and find different positions to play in. And also, each one of these can be converted to a 7th chord, which I'll show you once I show you the basic triads. So we're going to start off with a G triad, 004. And I'm not going to spell it out each time, but you have your G note, your D note, and your B note, because they don't have to go in order. They don't even have to have the root as the lowest note. Okay, then the next chord in our blues, the 4 chord, is C. That's the 3 notes for C. C, E, G, looking at it backwards. We move that up 2 frets, of course, and we have D. This is the one fingering that might be a little hard for you at first. The trick to this fingering is the thumb. So if you can see where my thumb is here, it's back here, because when your thumb and you take your hand, you just spread your hand really wide and just sort of look at it and think about just dropping it down onto the neck. You sort of realize that if you're thinking like this, which is okay a lot of the time, but not today, if you're thinking like this, you got lots of room. So there's your D. And that's connected to this G, which is B, G, D. So that's it for the spelling part. So connected to this one is C, that shape there, which we used to start off with. Up 2 frets is D. And then we have a G chord connected to that. You know? So you've got your 1 chord. See how that works? So here we are with G. Then we want the 4 chord. So we connect it to this shape. There's C. Okay. And then here's D. A, D, F sharp. And back to our original G. Remember, each one of these are triads and they have 3 different notes. Of course, we did this C, we did this D, and we can do this, whoops, G. has some cool aspects. Like that. So I'm going to go back here on this shape here. To turn it into a seventh, just add this note here. So it's now G7. Because most blues is based around the dominant seventh chord. Here's the one of the chord, G. This is the major seventh, which is wonderful, but not necessarily in a blues. And then the dominant seventh, which is kind of what blues is based on. So there's your seventh, how you find that there. Then, take the next shape here. Well, we'll take the easy shape. Here's C. Here's a C note here. Major seventh, seventh. So moving that up, you have it like this. That's D7. Here was that crazy D we did. Here's D7. And then here's the other shape of G. So how we get this one to work is we do this. So quickly, C, C7, D, full triad, D7, G, G7, that works real convenient. And then we're back to this form here for a C. It's way easier to switch here. That's a C7. Up 2 frets, D7. Back to G, make it a 7. Right? So you see how it all works. Whoops, where were we? So you can find a full proper triad for playing blues in the key of G and G tuning all over the place and connect it to other shapes. So you can stay in that position or change to that position. And of course, your blues scale can be found in each of those positions as well, but that's for another day. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.